From city to city, an incredible hysterical panic spread.
Everyone, they're here already! Join me!
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You have got to see this new scary movie called I Was Canceled at Work. Well, actually, you don't have to go to the movies to see it. It's coming to a workplace near you. Details in about 15 seconds. A popular trend these days, for better or worse, and I would say worse, is this phenomenon called cancel culture. Dictionary.com defines it this way. So it says here, higher. The popular practice of withdrawing support for public figures and companies after they have done or said something considered objectionable or offensive. The first time I noticed cancel culture was back in 2012 when I saw this video of this guy being a bit of a jerk to a Chick-fil-A cashier because he had a problem with Chick-fil-A's, as he saw it, anti-gay bias.
Well, I'm waiting in line. I'm next in line. I'm pretty excited about my free water. I also see like a group of 30 college-age students over there. I'm wondering if they're doing a sit-in. I'm so excited I might just join them. But let's see what happens with my free water, and I think I might just say a few words too. Let's see. Here I go. Hey, how you doing?
Fine.
Good. Is this my free water?
It is.
Awesome. You know why I'm getting the free water, right?
I do not.
Because Chick-fil-A is a hateful corporation.
It's my pleasure to serve you always.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm glad that I can take a little bit of money from Chick-fil-A and maybe less money to hate groups.
Well,
Have a great day.
We're always happy to serve every
I don't know how you live with yourself and work here. I don't understand it. This is a horrible corporation with horrible values.
We're here to
You
serve
deserve
you
better.
in any way that you need.
You deserve better. Rachel deserves better.
So that video went viral, and the very next day, his company was bombarded with emails demanding his termination, and even death threats and bomb threats. Long story short, he was fired, and it took him 2 years to find another job. And even then, it was in a totally different industry. You've been canceled. Since then, there have been several examples of people losing their jobs because someone else or a group of someone else's were offended by something someone said. Take, for example, Gary Gorels. Gary Gorels was a senior curator at, the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, right? And he resigned his position at the museum after employees circulated a petition demanding that he be fired because of what they saw as racist beliefs. Let me quote from this article here, a little bit higher today, a little bit higher. And it says here, yes, Gary's removal from the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art is non-negotiable, said the petition. Considering his lengthy tenure at this institution, we ask just how long have his toxic white supremacist beliefs regarding race and equity directed his position curating the content of the museum. Woo, that's more than a little awkward. What exactly did Gary do? What were the circumstances? Well, it seemed that the museum wanted to increase the diversity of artists being showcased at the museum. And in response to that, Gary said this. Let's get the quote up. I want to make sure I say it just right. Yes, it would be impossible to completely shun white artists because this would constitute reverse discrimination. No, that was it. That's all he said. Seriously. The petition listed no other specific grievances. You've been canceled. And here's another example of cancel culture at work. David Shore. Now, David Shore was a 28-year-old political analyst for a company called Civic Analytics. And he shared some research from Princeton University that basically said that violent protests are unsuccessful, or at least not as successful as nonviolent protests. And here's a quote from Reason website, I believe it is. The impulse behind Shore's tweet was a perfectly liberal one. He feels progressive reforms are more palatable to the public when protesters eschew violence. But many progressive activists on social media didn't care whether the impulse was liberal or even whether it reflected reality. They denounced Shore as a racist for daring to scrutinize the protesters, even if his aim was to make them more effective. One activist accused Shore of using his anxiety and intellect as a vehicle for anti-blackness. Then she tagged Civic Analytics and invited the company to come get your boy. And come and get them they did. Civic Analytics promptly fired Shore after that.
You've been canceled.
And one more example of cancel culture at work, proving that everything old can be new again when it comes to being offended. I present to you the example of Neil Golightly. Boeing Company's communication chief, Neil Golightly, abruptly resigned on Thursday following an employee's complaint over an article the former U.S. military pilot wrote 33 years ago. At issue is not whether women can fire M60s, dogfight MiGs, or drive tanks. Introducing women into combat would destroy the exclusively male intangibles of war, fighting, and the feminine images of what men fight for: peace, home, family.
You've been canceled.
Okay, to some people, these examples of cancel culture at work are borderline insane. We have free speech in this country, so why does this keep happening? If something you say today could possibly offend someone 10 years from now, would you be afraid to speak? What if sharing your opinion on a seemingly trivial topic resulted in your losing your job or being ostracized from society completely? And for that matter, how can companies hire anyone if at any time someone could be accused of not being politically correct and thereby put the company in jeopardy of bad publicity, which could affect the bottom line ultimately? We live in a free society, but that may change in a world influenced by a cancel culture that is offended by every misguided, ignorant, or misconstrued tweet. Should an online mob and their digital pitchforks hold so much power over our paychecks, our businesses, or our lives? You don't truly cancel bad ideas by silencing them. That only pushes them underground. Bad ideas need light and rational argument. Only then will people see bad ideas for what they are and stop supporting them. A letter on justice and open debate, also known as Harper's Letter, criticized the cancel culture. It was signed by influential thought leaders such as J.K. Rowling, Gloria Steinem, and Noam Chomsky. Here's a quote from that letter. Editors are fired for running controversial pieces. Books are withdrawn for alleged inauthenticity. Journalists are barred from writing on certain topics. Professors are investigated for quoting works of literature in class. A researcher is fired for circulating a peer-reviewed academic study, and the heads of organizations are ousted for what are sometimes just clumsy mistakes. It's almost as if the tolerant are becoming the very monsters they're supposed to be fighting. Shout outs! Tony, wow, what do you really think? I totally agree with you. Giving away money feels good, but if you are not going to change the way you do business, then it is all for show. Deb, glad you liked the video, and I appreciate your comments. Take a peek at what Boeing is doing with their summer science camp. You may be pleasantly surprised. Thanks everyone for watching. Please share these videos and keep an eye out for that cancel culture. It's everywhere.